Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome to the Investing 365 channel. My name is Ruslan G. I'm your host. And in today's episode, as you probably know, we're going to be talking about how the vaccine is actually going to affect the stock market. And before we dive into that, I just want to say a big thank you to all of my supporters on YouTube. It really helps out when you guys subscribe. And I noticed that a lot of you guys that watch my videos aren't subscribed, about 80-90%. And so if you're watching this and you notice that little button that says subscribe isn't already pushed down, it would really mean the world to me if you just go ahead and smash that subscribe button and like button as well if you like videos like this. But without further ado, let's dive into today's episode. So let's talk about how the vaccine is going to affect the stock market, in my opinion. So a lot of us investors have been sitting at home, probably biting our fingernails, just waiting for the vaccine and ultimately the lockdowns just to be over. And honestly, ever since the 2020 March drop, a lot of great investors like myself have been wondering what's going to happen next. And the thing that did end up happening soon after that is that the market has ultimately been in a very bullish trend ever since. And we even had the Dow Jones hit an all-time high of 30,000, just a few months after a 30% correction in the overall market. But a very serious question is still up in the air. What's going to happen once the vaccine hits the general public, and is everything going to just go back to normal? Currently, as I'm making this video, the vaccine that we have news on is at about 90% effectiveness, which is great news to say the least. And even more recently, we have been seeing a lot of value stocks like the airline industry and the cruise line companies rallying from their all-time lows, and in some cases even doubling or tripling in price. Meanwhile, stocks like Zoom and Netflix and other stay-at-home stocks have been taking a nice little dip over the last 3 or 4 weeks. The small caps have also been doing really well, as the Russell 2000 has been trending up and up and up. At the same time as FANG Stocks, which is Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, have not really been acting like themselves lately. So now that we have the facts, how is the vaccine going to impact the current market? And in my opinion, it really just depends. If the lockdowns continue and we have no stimulus support from the government, we could possibly see another 10 to 15% dip in the overall broad market. Think about it this way. Even if the vaccine does get pushed fairly soon to the general market, just with how high unemployment rates have been and are currently sitting at, and with the holidays rolling in, for all we know, we could be boiling a big cauldron of bad news to come in the near future. And hopefully that's not the case. But with what's happening right now, that could be very well the case. Although if the vaccine does come fairly quick and people are able to find jobs in this tough market, or at least with the stimulus have money to put back into the economy, aka putting food on the table, feeding their kids, putting clothes on their back, paying rent, etc. If we at least have that, then we may be in good shape for the next 6, 12, and 18 months. Okay, so now that we've covered that side of things, what about specific industries and stocks? Over the next 6, 12, 18 months, I personally see the stock market performing pretty well, since it's not always correlated to actual consumer spending or how much money we actually have in our pocket. I think it should be correlated to that, but current economics show us that it's not always the case. And again, this is just my opinion, but the overvaluated, overhyped, overinflated companies like maybe Zoom or Tesla, any of these companies that have a ridiculous PE and even forward PE ratios, could possibly see a slight dip in their price, just because I think that people might start waking up, and I'm already starting to see that people really are nervous about buying these companies that have ridiculous valuations, and they're right to do so because the balance sheets and sales numbers just don't show these valuations as really worth it. And it's hard to say for sure, but I just see it happening in the next 3, 6, maybe 12 months, where people just might not want to pay these ridiculous valuations on the companies that have just been really inflated by overall hype. And as airports have been opening up again, business should come back relatively quick. Again, as long as people can afford to pay the price to travel, most likely it will take maybe 12 to 24 months to fully recover in this industry, in this sector, or at least get into the 80% pre-pandemic type numbers and valuation. FANG stocks, especially Google and Amazon, will continue growing their company, and their numbers will only continue to improve. They have plenty of businesses that can thrive in absolutely any type of market condition, and I just don't see their business getting any smaller anytime soon. Remember that even for the FANGs, the stock prices may stagnate. That's normal, especially for companies like this with so much capital that they have to reinvest it year after year after year, and it will make their balance sheet look like they're not profitable for a quarter or two. But not to fear, a lot of times this is just to avoid taxes and to reinvest the profits into future growth potential. So if you're a long-term investor like myself, you have no problem with seeing this, and it'll just be a really good thing if you're invested in these type of companies for the next 5 and 10 years. All right, a couple really important updates for you guys. I am launching my highly requested private stock Discord group on January 1st of 2021. There will be a free version of the group, and we're also going to be launching a paid version of the group. It's not going to be anything crazy. It's going to be less than a few bucks a week. I believe the total price is something like 10 bucks a month. So definitely worth it, especially because the people in there are absolute investing wizards, and it's going to be an absolutely insane community filled with tons of talented people, investors, and other like-minded individuals like yourself and I, where we can all have discussions and talk about investing and different ideas on how to make more money in the market and help grow our own portfolios. Remember to smash the like button if this video brought you a lot of value, and let me know down in the comment section below what you'd like to see in a future video as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.